Being just a kid from Maine, people would just shoot me down.
That told me I would never be able to make it to the next level.
They say success is the best revenge. One of the dollars, I'm proving them wrong. Back on the classic, I know it's been long. That they was missing me while I was gone.
Flying flag! Are you serious?
This is something that I've been dreaming about since I was a little kid. That dream just stuck in my head. I just got to keep working.
He spent one season in Durham, and Cooper Flagg made it count. Selected #1, and during his time at Duke, he led the Devils with 19, 7.5 boards, 4 assists, becoming the first ACC freshman to lead his team in all 3 categories since freshmen became eligible in 1972. Add it up, and it means the mantle is full of awards. The Wooden Award, the nation's top player in college basketball, the 4th freshman to win the award, joining Kevin Durant in 2007, Anthony Davis in 2012, and fellow member of the Brotherhood, Zion Williamson. AD and Zion both picked first overall. At 18 years, 186 days, he's the second youngest player to be selected first overall, trailing just LeBron James. Remember that first game out in Sacramento? It was obvious he could do it from the jump. The Maine native, reclassified, goes to Duke, and now he's the guy. We're joined now by the #1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. It's Cooper Flagg. And Cooper, we all knew that this was going to happen, but you're the young man that's going to hear your name. I'm going to ask it from your perspective, but I want to move it out a little bit because Khan goes 4, and then Malawach is taken to the top 10. What's this night been like for you, your coach John Shire, to experience it from the Brotherhood's perspective, as you all call that Duke family? What's this night been like for all of you?
I mean, speaking for myself personally, it's been incredible. This is a dream come true. Things I've been dreaming about since I was a little kid. So to share this moment with people like that, my family first of all, and then Coach Shire. You know, it's incredible. There's no words I can use to describe it.
In terms of your game this year, Jay Billis and I were talking last night about it. I felt like from where you were in October to where you got in March, you took giant steps forward. I'm interested in your perspective, Cooper, of where you felt your game grew the most during your time in Durham.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the numbers speak for itself. You know, I started the year, I didn't shoot my best ball. I don't remember what percent it was, but I think just getting more comfortable throughout the year, you know, shooting the ball at a steady rate off the dribble, catch and shoot as well. I think that was my biggest strides, and I think that was the biggest thing for me.
There's plenty of time for you to figure it out at the next level, but you're going to be expected to provide something right off the jump because you're the #1 pick, and I think you can. What do you think is going to translate most quickly from now to the league that you're going to bring with you ready-made?
Yeah, I think just being an impact player. Just being able to impact the game in a ton of different ways, you know, whether it's with the ball, whether it's not, defensively being able to impact the game. I think that's what can translate right away, is just being a really good impact player, an all-around guy.
There's going to be a moment when you're guarding somebody or somebody's guarding you that might have been a poster on your wall when you were a kid, might have been your favorite player. Like, who's the guy, Cooper, that you imagine when it hits you at some point next season, oh, my gosh, this is my life, this is me? Who's that person?
That's a good question. Maybe Jason Tatum. You know, that's somebody that I watched a lot at Duke and then watched a lot again at as he's gotten onto the Celtics and had an incredible career so far.
We look forward to Tatum being healthy enough to get out there on the floor and share it with you. Cooper, congratulations on the night. All the best as your NBA career begins in Dallas. Just shy of midnight, Steve, in the East. Eastern time zones with you for another half hour. Back to the top of the NBA draft as we revisit some of the memorable moments for the top picks. Cooper Flagg, this was against Pitt, and heavens to Betsy. Flagg, he really did, I think, grow by leaps and bounds. He was obviously really good to start, but you just saw the guy become so much more confident in the steps he was taking as the year progressed. Dylan Harper, in a tie game, Harper's just so smooth to get to the spot that he wants to do his thing. That lefty Jay won the Battle of New Jersey. I think there were some injuries, yes, but it's still kind of hard to fathom how 2 top 5 picks and Rutgers had the season it did. VJ Edgecombe. This is a game, by the way, Gonzaga won by 1 million. And poor Coach Few's son, well, sorry, Fewy. Sometimes, you know what, you play defense, sometimes.
We don't cut the highlights.
No, but also, like Jared Allen said, you know I'm going to jump because even if I get the block, I make SportsCenter. And if I get dunked on, I make SportsCenter. That was Joe. That's also VJ Edgecombe. He went 3. In terms of best available players, how about your guy Maxime there, Steve?
Balanced player.
Averaged 20 and 10 on the farm last year. Another guy that could really fill it in an elite shooter of the basketball, Chaz Lanier, who was excellent in his 1 season in Knoxville. Bobby Marks joins us now. And Bobby, following your social media feed, I know you really liked what Utah did. What specifically did they do in terms of who they accumulated that you think, you know what, I like this, it adds up?
Yeah, I like, certainly Ace Bailey, right? The big question was, would a team take Ace Bailey that didn't visit? And Utah said, you know what? We're going to take the best available player. We don't care if you didn't want to come visit, and we're going to draft you. And then Walter Clayton Jr., certainly from Florida, a shot maker, big-time player. We saw him during the national championship with Florida last year. 2 quality players that can help a Utah team that, let's face it, Scott, the Western Conference is certainly as good as it's ever been, and they need as much talent as they can.
Yeah, but he's up there in a Washington hat. You know people with the league, Bobby. Can we fix the hat thing? I swear to God, if I'm here for 100 years.
Scott.
What? Fix it.
Scott, I got a recommendation, but we might have to push everyone's summer back a couple weeks. I'm willing to do free agency first, and then let's do the draft second, and then summer league third here, and that would fix everyone's problem as far as with the hats. And I am with you. We need to fix that. Okay, see, I'm not, because I'm going on vacation as of Thursday. So the hell with you and your idea. I can deal with the hats. Moving on. The East is wide open. And there's some injuries, unfortunately, that are part of the cause for that, with some real questions with Boston and Indiana. Atlanta's moving a whole lot around, and I got the sense from what you're saying, maybe they're not done in terms of adding salaries, creating space. What do you think they're doing? They're not done, and they added Kristaps Porzingis and Asa Newell. I am really high on. Here's the best thing from Atlanta: they get potentially the pick, a first-round pick in 26 from New Orleans or Milwaukee, and that pick could be pretty juicy. But here's what to keep an eye on for Atlanta this offseason: they've got a big $25 million trade exception that expires on July 7th. Look for them to add depth to their backcourt in the offseason here. This Atlanta team is a little bit of a wild card for me going into next year. All right, Bobby, I appreciate your time. Your suggestion makes a ton of sense. I just, if it happens, I'm not going to be the one doing the draft. I'm sure people at home are like, that's fine, we'll be good. My wife's won't be happy with that either, Scott. Trust me. Well, that's a far bigger issue to sort out. I'll let you deal with that. Bobby, thanks as always for your time. All right. There are many factors that explain why this year's NBA draft was a whole lot more interesting than last. The class of 25 on paper is miles more impactful. Looking back at last year again today, and you're just like, whoa. Not only are there better players available this year, we're just so much more familiar with them going back even to their high school days compared to players at the top last year who most had never seen or heard of. But the bigger magnifier of the interest and importance, I believe to be recency bias. A couple of smaller market teams who were new to the stage battled for 7 games in the NBA Finals, and it screams, this is the new NBA. Super teams fueled by gluttonous spending not only don't ensure a spot at the table, but that second apron has teams scrambling to get out from under the burden of it. Meanwhile, many fans are asking, what the hell is a second apron? Well, the cliff notes are, it's the penalty you pay for surpassing a salary threshold, which drastically limits the organization's flexibility. It's real, but it's not as sexy as the other undeniable element in play, which is the 2 stars who were the engines of their respective teams in the finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton went 11th and 12th overall. Jalen Williams, he went 12th as well.
Now, I could keep going. It's just a whole lot more efficient to simply say 9 of the 10 starters for Indy and Oklahoma City were selected outside the top 10, which might lead one to the conclusion that any team could follow that blueprint. But I'll do you the favor here and stop you from wasting your time looking outside the top 10 for all the many examples of stars who are hiding in plain sight. Because, buddy, there are a bunch of guys whose whereabouts are a mystery, so much worse than inside the NBA's who he played for. It's who the hell is he, or was he? So the credit here really belongs to Sam Presti with the Thunder, Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan for Indiana, who have valued culture and continuity and managed to thread the needle and create the teams that they have. It is wild to connect the dots to Paul George, who played for both organizations, and how SGA and Hallie are where they are by virtue of moving George in both cases. George has been a key cog in a number of supposed super team wheels, most recently in Philadelphia. None have come together, and it only figures to get harder now. So maybe drafts will be prioritized more moving forward. I just believe interest in this one benefits from a class which has talent and the finals we just saw. I certainly didn't know those guys outside the top 10 would become this, and you didn't either. We'll know soon enough who's going to be next and who's not. When we continue, you swingers are the nicest people. Houston running back kind of a carbon copy of an earlier win this